Hello and welcome to the Rise Up in Business podcast. I'm Tracy Myler-Crane and I'm your host. This is the legal and business podcast for small business owners, where I draw from my experience as a business lawyer and the insights I've gained from supporting hundreds of service-based businesses. When it comes to what can go wrong in business, there is nothing I haven't seen. I believe prevention is better than cure, always. And through this podcast, I'm sharing with you what you need to know to build strong legal foundations in your business and to set yourself up for long-term sustainable success. Let's dive into today's episode. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the podcast. This is the time of year where I want to share with you what's come from my end of year reflections. And if you're a long-time listener, you'll know that this is something I share with you each year. This time last year, on episode 195 of the podcast, I shared with you my end of year reflections and my reset process and what that looked like. This year, I want to dive in and share with you my 5 key takeaways from 2025. And these have become really clear to me throughout my end of year reflection process and allowing myself the space and time to just sit in reflective mode to really draw from the nuggets of gold that came from 2025, because there were plenty, and the challenges that came from 2025, because there was no shortage of those. These takeaways that I want to share with you come from a combination of my personal experience in business, but also from what I supported clients with and what I observed a lot with my clients. Let's dive into number 1. The absolute first key takeaway from 2025 is that boundaries are business assets. Boundaries are business assets. I talk a lot on the podcast and with my clients and over on social media. I talk a lot around boundaries and the value of boundaries. I've shared much on the podcast about my boundaries with my own business and my own personal life, and trying to implement some space for self-care and what that looks like and the power of boundaries around that. But what became really clear to me in my end of year reflection process was just how much of an asset in business boundaries actually are. And this really became clear for me when I was reflecting on some of the fabulous clients that I've supported in business. But the challenges they were facing were common, and there were common threads in relation to so many of these challenges that all stemmed from the lack of boundaries. And what happened in business when these business owners didn't have boundaries is that they weren't focusing on driving their business forward, not as much as what they could have been. They were losing time and energy to engage in revenue generation activities. So they weren't in delivery, they were in reactive mode. They were spending so much time and space and energy putting out fires, bootstrapping to keep things going, dealing with problematic employees and team members, dealing with client complaints in relation to delivery and expectations weren't met, and then chasing unpaid invoices. All of these things became problems that they needed to deal with because they didn't have proper boundaries in place. And that's when I realized boundaries are business assets. Boundaries help you make more money. Boundaries help you stay in your zone of genius. Boundaries help you drive your business forward. It's the boundaries, they're an asset. That's number 1. Boundaries are business assets, hands down number 1. The second takeaway for me this year, this will be no surprise, it came as a result of our brand evolution process. And this takeaway is trust the process of evolution. I learned this big time this year, to trust the process of evolution. It takes time. It is slow. It is natural. It's organic. That evolution process, trust in that process, and the nuggets of gold will come. And that's exactly what I experienced when I was going through my brand evolution process. It was a brand evolution. It started halfway through the year, a conversation over coffee with my husband around my business name, something I've been dissatisfied with for years. It was never my intention to set out in business and call myself TM Solicitor. I know I say I'm not a creative, but I don't even lack that much creativity. It was never something that I aspired to. It sort of just happened. And there's a story behind that, and I've shared about that previously on the podcast. But it was something that I revisited year after year, knowing that it didn't sit quite right and what to do about it. And this year, the time came. The time came where it was the right time to lean into exploring, where are we now? What does it look like now? What name represents us now? And then the process went from there, but it wasn't a smooth process. It was a rocky process because at the beginning I was resisting it. I was not trusting the process of evolution. I was resisting the process of evolution because I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to have to roll my sleeves up and get in and do the hard work to give the right creatives what they needed from me to be able to create the magic that they did. And it was with the support of some very special people around me and some very important people in my life that I actually learnt that I needed to sit back, trust the process, do what needs to be done, and let it unfold. And that's what happened. So there was such value in trusting the process of evolution for me this year with my business. I will never doubt it again. And I had to learn it, and it had to be rocky, and it only came because of resistance. But I've learnt it, and it's there. And now I see it so often when I'm talking to business people, many who have reached out to ask me, who did I work with? Who supported me? How did I do it? What drove it? People picking my brain on that, which I'm so happy to share. I'm seeing very similar components of resistance in them and blocks in them because they also are not aware of the need to trust the process of the evolution. It takes time, and when you lean in and let it unfold, that's where the magic happens. It's so important to just honour what's emerging, even when the path's not clear. Honour it, lean in, trust the process. That's where the magic happens. That's number 2. My third key takeaway that I want to share with you from 2025 is clarity is your competitive advantage. For me personally, clarity is a value. It's one of our values here at home. It's a value of me personally. I get so much power from being clear, and I get clarity when I speak, which is why I talk so much and I have no problem engaging in discussion about all sorts of things. It's something I'm teaching my children. They understand what clarity is. They understand they can get power from clarity, no matter what challenge they're facing or what project they want to work on. But in a business context, from working with business owners, and I'm talking to them about the legal documents that they need, whether it's their agreements with their clients or whether it's in relation to offerings on their website, there's often a lack of clarity around those offerings when the client first reaches out to me. And it's really important for me to be able to do my job to know exactly what it is the offerings are. So we talk about it. We spend time talking about it, and I ask questions. And sometimes they go away and reflect and refine and work on it. And sometimes they get the clarity in those calls with me. But being really clear and having that clarity in business, I've come to see is a really special competitive advantage because we assume our competitors and others in the space are really clear on what they're doing and that we're the only ones that aren't clear. But guess what? That's not the case. It's the majority that lack the clarity. It's the majority that aren't clear. So what I've seen this year in particular is that when a business gets really clear on who they're serving and what their messaging is, they are creating such clarity that is leading to powerful outcomes because they're attracting the right clients to help. They're drawing in the right people to their business. Their business in turn is growing. And ultimately, that's one of the things that so many business owners tell me that they want to achieve when they reach out to me because they're ready to up-level, they're ready to grow. How do they do that? The work I do is a very important part of that. So I've come to see that clarity as being a competitive advantage because it is not common. It is so anything but common. Take my word for it. We assume a lot about what we see on social media. We assume a lot about what other business owners' journeys must be like. Often, though, those assumptions are not anchored in anything remotely real, just our assumptions because what we see on the highlight reel on social media. So we should focus on ourselves, on our own business, on our own messaging, on our own offering, on the clients we want to attract, because that clarity is a competitive advantage. That's number 3. The fourth takeaway from this year, and this is something that I've drawn on personally and something that I've talked to clients about, is you can't be all things to all people. This one is not new. This is not new. We hear this often. It's thrown around a lot. But let me ask you, how often do you really dive in to unpack that, to understand what the implications of that are for you? Me in my own business, not being all things to all people, was really a pivotal part of my brand evolution, because whilst the brand was very much about catching up to where the business was, we really did have to niche into the messaging to support the new brand, because I have niched over the years and I have focused on delivering real value to service-based business owners who operate in the creative space, the coaching space, and the consulting space. That's where I've niched into, really naturally and organically, I'm fortunate to say. But what that has meant is that I've had to learn over the years to say no, because I can't be all things to all people, because otherwise I would never have been able to niche. So when we were revisiting the copy for the website, our content pillars, our social media messaging, when we were revisiting all of that, the not being all things to all people came up time and time and time again. And it takes courage, because it's so powerful and so valuable and so meaningful, but it's also very scary. This is something I talk to business owners about, because I do talk to business owners about their service offerings, who they're serving, how they're attracting these people, because that conversation is really important when it comes to developing their documents. I need to know who they're working with. I need to know who they're trying to attract. I need to know what they're delivering. So it is a natural part of the conversations I have with clients. And I'm often saying to clients, my goodness, you have a plethora of service offerings here. You're trying to be all things to all people. This is going to be a very involved process with some significant documents that I need to develop for you to cover all of these things. And as soon as I start saying that, they automatically start becoming more comfortable with niching, because they realize it's actually not advantageous to try to be all things to all people, because that's not achievable. So it is a discussion I have often, and it is a takeaway that I've identified as being one of the key takeaways this year, because it was so important for me to revisit the not being all things to all people when we were going through our brand evolution process. And it's something that comes up regularly when I'm talking to new clients. And some of them say to me, gosh, Tracy, this feels like a permission slip now. Thank you so much. I've been trying to be all things to all people. And someone said to me recently, I feel like a jack of all trades and a master of none. And that's exactly what it is. So trying to be all things to all people, you will end up as a jack of all trades and a master of none. But when you embrace this key takeaway, which is that you can't be all things to all people, you shouldn't want to be all things to all people, that's where they feel like there's a permission slip there to go, right, what don't I want to do? What lights me up? What do I want to do more of? And it's just a fabulous process to watch unfold. Certainly was for me. And it certainly is so wonderful to support clients through that process as well, and have those really fabulous, meaningful conversations whilst I'm developing documents. It's a real big one. So I wanted to share that in this episode. So number 4, you can't be all things to all people. And lucky number 5, again, this one is not new. But these things are not set and forget. And it's so nice to be reminded of these. And this I love. I really love this one. Number 5, my 5th key takeaway from 2025 is sometimes rinse and repeat beats new and shiny. There is nothing wrong with reaching a season in your business which is centered around rinse and repeat. You know what works. You know what you love. You know what you want to do. So do more of that. Rinse and repeat. I'm very comfortable to say is the season of business that I'm in. Rinse and repeat. I know what I love. I know who I love serving, and I know how to do it really well. I'm going to rinse and repeat that. I don't want to look for something shiny and new. We don't always have to feel pressured to be looking for something shiny and new. There's a lot of noise on social media. There is a lot of noise out there saying, what's the next big thing for you? What's your new offering? You should have a course. It should be evergreen. These are just examples, by the way. You should have a low ticket offer to get new leads in. You should have a high ticket offer to make more profit. You should be doing this. My goodness, it's okay to just say stop first. I'm not listening. This is my business. I'm anchored to my why. I've got really clear boundaries. I'm really, really confident in what I'm doing. I know who I'm serving. I know where I'm adding so much value. I know what lights me up. That's where I'm at in my business right now. And I'm going to rinse and repeat. I almost feel like there's negative connotations in some spaces around rinsing and repeating being boring. Well, I don't know about you, but when I find something that I love, that I truly love, there is nothing boring about doing that over and over and over. So, my friends, takeaway number 5, one that I love so much, sometimes rinse and repeat beats shiny and new. Nothing worse than constantly being on a quest for the next shiny big thing, ending up in that space where you're a jack of all trades and a master of none, you're burnt out, and you've got adrenal fatigue and you're not fulfilled, and you feel like you're on the hamster wheel. It's a hard no from me for that. So that's your permission slip too. If you love it, if it works, there is nothing wrong with rinse and repeat if that's what you want to do. We don't have to listen to all the noise all the time on all of the social media platforms. So there you have it. Those are my 5 key takeaways from 2025 that I really wanted to share with you at this time of year. And I'm hoping that some of that's been valuable in your own forward planning and thinking process for the year that's coming up. And for those of you who are still in your reflection stages from the year that was, I'm hoping that some of that resonates and lands with you and might help you dive deeper into some of your own reflections. So just to recap, my 5 key takeaways from 2025. Number 1, boundaries are business assets. Number 2, trust the process of evolution. Number 3, clarity is your competitive advantage. Number 4, you can't be all things to all people. And number 5, sometimes rinse and repeat beats new and shiny. I hope you've loved this episode. Please share it if you know somebody that you think would love it too and that would benefit from hearing what I've shared about my takeaways from 2025. When you're getting ready to embark on your planning process for the next year or your planning process for quarter 1, if you haven't got your free copy of my essential legal checklist for small business owners, please jump over to the website and grab a copy, because I've designed that for business owners so that you can look at it, work it through really easily and quickly identify what areas need your attention in a legal context in your business and what areas you're good and you don't have to worry about. It removes the guessing, it removes the worry. It's designed to make it really clear for you what it is that you need to reach out and speak to your business lawyer about, or what it is that you can have complete confidence that you've got it covered and you don't have to worry about it. The link for the checklist is in the show notes. I hope you find it helpful. As always, thanks for joining me. I'll catch you next time.